Trophied up. Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Yeah. Hey, do yo. Trophied up. Leo dance when the G's up. Spaced out, got me geeked up. 10 toes on the west, cannot beat us. You cannot. Shining every time they meet us. Rack 'em up since 96. Been number one in LA, something like that's the gist.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of Talkin Galaxy. And tonight we will have a very special guest with us. But first, I'd like to introduce LA Galaxy memes and our good friend Sean, who's a regular on the show, as well as memes. And then our special guest, CFC Michael.
Boys, I am so glad to be here with you guys. Thank you guys for...
You just want to introduce yourself to everyone, Mike, and, just allow everyone to get to know you a bit?
Yeah, definitely. My name is Michael. My at's right here at CFC Michael, longtime supporter and fan of the club. Took a dip into this podcast universe, and I'm so glad you boys are taking it up. You guys are doing a really good job over here. Did my own show for a little bit on a slight hiatus, but participant/host of the G30 podcast, and I'm just glad here to talk ball with the boys today. So thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. I would like to point out, I like the background over there, memes from our live podcast, as well as the LA Galaxy shiesty. So I like what you got going over there. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it. We got a lot to cover tonight. First of all, a bit of injury news, which you'll see very quickly is the theme of this podcast. Is Mir Cuevas is out. He's been out, and he will continue to be out. He is currently dealing. Does anyone know what exactly it is? Is it like a hamstring? I know we've had like a hamstring bug going around the club right now, but does anyone know like specifically what Mir Cuevas is going through? Anyone want to touch on this a bit?
I'm not sure what type of hamstring injury it is, but I believe I read earlier today that he should be out for about 6 to 8-ish weeks, which is a huge blow considering our other injuries we have currently.
Yeah, no, I just confirmed that is a hamstring injury for Amir Cuevas, and that wouldn't be a massive loss if we weren't also missing Miki Amane, who is dealing with I got the whole injury. I got the whole injury list here.
The whole Bible verse worth of injuries.
Whole Bible verse worth of injuries. Miki Amane dealing with the thigh injury. Greg Vanny commented on that today and said the type of injury he's dealing with will be around like a 7 to 10 day recovery. And he's been out for about half a week, so probably won't play Concacaf, but you could see him return versus St. Louis, if not likely for the second leg against Herediano. But that's what makes us hurt so much. We'll go into the Galaxy versus Vancouver shortly here, but Mir Cuevas being out. I just wanted to first of all get your guys' thoughts on just the Galaxy Vancouver. Let's dive right into it. The Galaxy obviously fall 2-1 to the Vancouver Whitecaps, and Gabriel Peck was our lone goal scorer. If you were paying attention to the live pod, this was a very disappointing game because the Galaxy looked like for a while that they were going to earn a point, and then Brian White does what he does, and he hates us, and he scores a header. So I just wanted to collect some initial thoughts on this game before we don't want to glimpse over this result a bit too much. So we'll start with you, memes. Go ahead. You want to talk about Galaxy Vancouver?
Yeah, really sloppy game in my opinion. It was really slow paced. I felt like building out the back, it was really bad. It definitely did not work. I know what they were trying to do, what they intended to do. It just didn't follow through. Vancouver with a good press, though. I just think that going forward, we just lacked that creativity, and I think the midfield was sloppy. I feel like Cerrillo and Sanabria were both kind of lost at times, which was a little concerning just because Cerrillo, with his third season here, I think his role should be a lock. He should be kind of leading the midfield at this point, especially with all the new guys on the team. It's really unfortunate that Garces was also injured and he didn't carry out the second half as playing at right back. I think if we had Cuevas, that would have been Cuevas' spot to take over. And yeah, it was just a really sloppy game. Unfortunate that we didn't get the point, but we got to move on to the next one.
Yeah, 100%. Sean, you want to touch on this a little bit as well?
Yeah. I thought it was a really disappointing performance all around. I felt like after we did score, we did have that momentum and we did get a couple more opportunities, but really that second half, we did not put up a fight whatsoever. It was just a long ball after long ball to Peck and just prayed he did something with it. But I mean, Vancouver kept on getting close chances and they were able to get on the end of one of their chances and made it 2-1 in the dying minutes.
Yeah, no, certainly. It was a pain to see that kind of unfold. But CFC Michael, your thoughts on LA Vancouver?
Yeah, man, I definitely don't want to harp on the pessimistic feeling that we have about this result. I mean, it's a deflating one, and it's not the ideal way we'd like to start the season. But I'd like to, piggyback off of memes a little bit. I'd feel like Sergio here would maybe step into a bigger role. And with him being here a little bit longer now, we're sort of in a position where we need to expect more out of these guys that have been mainstays to sort of implement the system. But it nothing looked like it clicked. I understand with our slower center backs, like they like to play with the game in front of them. It didn't even seem like that worked out for them as well. And very off color. The Garces right back appearance for me was interesting. Cuevas definitely would have been a shoe in for that. Safe to say that he's not really suited for that role. I don't want to go ahead and make that assumption, but didn't really enjoy what I saw from him there. But not a whole lot of positives to take away on my end.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out that I feel like we left out was Mikovic's everybody's criticism on him. I think that as fans we shouldn't make him the scapegoat of the team. I feel like for sure the Brian White goal was not his fault. Brian White, 15 goals in the last 2 seasons, 5 yards out. He's going to score that. And if we have McCarthy in goal, it's going to be the exact same situation. He's going to score that. And I feel like people are pinpointing him to a lot of the goals this season, which is not okay. I feel like it's just like really unjustifiable. Obviously when you get scored on, I feel like a lot of people are going to blame the defense and the keeper, but I feel like just pinpointing him to a lot of the goals this season is just weird. I feel like the McCarthy agenda and it's just out of topic for me. And it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
I definitely want to say that I think the criticism to an extent is warranted, right? Like, I mean, your job at the end of the day is to stop the ball going to the back of the net, but I do think it is a little early to shoo him out of the squad and give McCarthy a chance. The only thing personally that I'd like to see from Novak would just be a little bit better distribution. Really, I feel like he does the basics right. I mean, he looks comfortable. It's a shame that he's been on the bad end of 2 not great results, but I'm at the point really where let's get this ironed out now. And if we have to start a little bit slower, meaning that the end of the season looks better, which I'm remaining hopeful for, then these games will be a wash, man.
Yeah, no, I actually wanted to touch on that a bit too, because I did a post-match. If you follow LA Galaxy Buzz, shameless plug on Instagram.
Goated.
I did
Absolutely goated.
I did post-match reactions and like takeaways, fan opinions type of questionnaire, and a lot of people were completely Novak Mitrovic out. And I'm gonna seem like a Novak Mitrovic defender here, but I'm only gonna come off this way because I don't think it's that extreme. I don't think the hate that he gets to the levels I've seen it is where it should be at. So maybe I'll come out off like a Mitrovic defender here, but I don't think he had any serious errors. Like this game, at least. Okay, if you want to be critical of Novak Mitrovic, his distribution has been sloppy. And I think, the goal against San Diego that we gave up, the first goal, kind of highlighted that. I put a bit more of the blame on Garces. If you paid attention to our podcast last week, I think if you're a professional soccer player, you should probably be trapping that ball. But regardless, there is an aspect where Novak Mitrovic should not be belting it that high of Amiro Garces. But since that point, I haven't really had an issue with Novak Mitrovic. In fact, I've been a bit surprised that his shot stopping ability has been what it has been, because he's made some crucial saves, including one in this game to keep the Galaxy in it on a one-on-one where Vancouver should have went up 2-0 very early. And that kind of stood as a wake-up call. I mean, until the 87th minute. But the Galaxy kind of woke up after that point because he kept us in the game. And that's what you want from your goalkeeper. And yeah, I'll be critical of his distribution out the back, but McCarthy wasn't much better. Let's not be very nearsighted in that. So the criticism of Novak Mitrovic, another thing on the fan opinions was somebody said that he is becoming the scapegoat for the Galaxy fans this season. And I do partly agree with that, because not everything is Novak Mitrovic's goal. And it feels like after every goal we concede, it's like, why is John McCarthy not in there? And obviously that's going to happen when you dispossess a goalkeeper who just won you an MLS Cup from the starting spot. That's what comes along with it, is because, this guy's last game won us an MLS Cup, but let's not be nearsighted. And Novak Mitrovic is a project. And yeah, I mean, this is growth pains, but we'll know by the end of the season if he's our guy or not, for sure. And anyone else disagree with that, or anyone else want to add comments to that?
I definitely.
Sorry, you go. Sorry.
Sean.
Oh, okay. I feel like the hate on Mitrovic is non-warranted in any reason. I mean, really, the only reason people didn't hate on McCarthy too much last season is because we continuously got results our way. But how many times would we give up 2+ a game, but then get bailed out by our attack?
Yeah. Sorry. Before you go, CFC Michael, I also wanted to touch on the fact that let's not forget people were calling for Novak Mitrovic to be the starter at a point last year. It just seems like whoever's in net is going to be the scapegoat of something, and obviously that comes with the goalkeeper position. When I played soccer, I was a goalkeeper as well, so I get that. But go ahead, CFC Michael.
No, I just wanted to tail back and say it's piggyback off of Galaxy News off of Sean. It's all smoke and mirrors. I mean, we are now being exposed for what we are out of the back without the likes of, Puig, Paintsill, and it's all growing pains. I feel like I don't think there's any huge regression outside of what we have to field. And I mean, you look at the lineup that we brought going into the Vancouver game. This is the best we can do, but for some time, or for the foreseeable future, I think there needs to be like an immediate wake up call to the fan base that like we will be figuring this out well up until the end of the first half of the season, and players will be getting exposed. Our defense will be getting a lot more attention because you don't have the headliners. Like, you don't have the triple P, you don't have that up there. So yeah, just kind of food for thought.
Yeah. Memes, thoughts on Novak Mitrovic?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of this is just not like wanted. I do remember last season when everybody was calling for Mikovic during the runs of Leagues Cup. So it does bring me back to that moment, but I feel like he's going to get criticism all season long. Unfortunately, I think it's just, like Michael said, it's just growing pains and all that type of stuff. You're going to see people get exposed. I want to say it's like a sophomore slump for him, I guess, in a way too. He has had some great saves though. He is a good keeper. He should be the number one though. I do think like McCarthy is going to be transitioned into like a more keeper that doesn't play like the tournaments, like Leagues Cup, the Concacaf Champions League. He's going to be playing those type of games that we're going to have full trust on Mikovic. And as long as we, as a team, have full trust, like as in Vanny, as in all the players have trust in Mikovic, I'm going to have full trust in Mikovic as well. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and just blame him off every goal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then, yeah, let's just go over the lineup here. Galaxy versus Vancouver, obviously the 2-1 loss here. You got Novak Mitrovic starting in net as we've gone over the past 15 minutes now. You have John Nelson at left back, Zonka and Yoshida at center back, and interesting one with the absence of Miki Amane and Amir Cuevas was Miro Garces at right back. You have Lucas Sanabria, Elijah Winder gets his first start for the Galaxy, as well as Edwin Cerrillo, and Diego Fagundes in the midfield. I thought, we'll kind of go over our situation with Diego Fagundes and maybe Marco Royce, who've been subject to a lot of criticism, and then Miguel Berry up top. A lot of rotation, I think, is the emphasis of this game, is that the Galaxy are prioritizing tomorrow's game against Herediano above this away trip at the Whitecaps, which is always historically a tough place for the Galaxy to play. Let's talk about another guy who's kind of missing. Let's transition out of this. Is Matias Nacho. Matias Nacho is another one on our injury list for the Galaxy. Just another one of the currently 7 players that are dealing with injuries. Matias Nacho is currently dealing with let me pull this up. It is a thigh injury, and he was considered day-to-day. He's questionable going into this game. He could have very well, it's not a long-term thing. I think he could have played this game if it was a crucial fixture. But the Galaxy are saving his debut potentially for midweek at Herediano. So we'll have to see. But this team misses. He hasn't even made a start, but we're already kind of missing the presence of a guy like Nascimento. And what do you guys make of kind of the injury at the striker role right now? Do you think Nascimento would have made an impact in this match, or do you think it wouldn't have changed much?
I mean, I think it would have been a huge help up top, because as much as Berry has helped us throughout he did get an assist last match, Berry, but I just feel like you need a more dynamic presence, and having it be again where you're only lobbing the ball up top through Peck, you need somebody else who can create and let that load off of Peck a bit. And Nascimento would have really helped us out in that role. And maybe he even could have been starting at the left wing role if needed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Memes?
Yeah, I think Nascimento was missed. I feel like we needed someone with pace at the striker. I feel like both Ramirez and Barry are really slow moving forwards. We kind of need somebody that goes in behind the defense, someone that can get to the through ball so that Peck always plays. So I feel like he is needed, and we miss him, or we haven't played with him yet. But off of the highlights, he's definitely going to be a big contributor to the season. I don't think he's going to play until St. Louis or Portland, though. Just because, or actually maybe not Portland because it's turf. So I think his debut's going to be against St. Louis, though.
Yeah, Michael.
It's definitely hard to say that we've missed him. I mean, I feel like there is a hole to fill at that position. But looking forward to his debut. I think we can only benefit from the dynamic ability from a versatile forward, unlike Miguel Berry and Ramirez.
Sorry. These chat comments are interesting tonight. Let's just hop into the next injury, which is Miki Amane, who is currently also dealing with the thigh issue. Miki Amane was questionable going into this match. But sorry.
Stop laughing.
Yeah, I can take over.
We can take a time. We can take a time out, guys. We can catch a breather.
So yeah, anyways, Miki Amane had a thigh injury, I believe it was. But either way, I believe he would be out for about a weekish, as Peyton mentioned earlier. But this is a huge blow, especially for us right now, considering we have a lot of games coming up this month, and especially this week. Again, Vancouver, never an easy place for us. And now we have to go to Costa Rica in Concacaf Champions Cup. And this is a huge, huge game for us, not just to make a statement win to the entire CONCACAF, but also just to get the first win on the season in any competition. And not having a fit right back is going to be a huge issue, especially since I know CFC Michael pointed out earlier, but Emilio Garces didn't really have that much of a great performance against Vancouver, and I don't think he's personally the option to fill up Miki Amane's role.
Michael, I'm done. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm geeked out tonight. Go ahead, Michael.
All right. Yeah. I mean, Miki has proven to be a very valuable contributor to the squad when fit. We are lacking that presence in our back line, and I touched upon it earlier. Like, I just don't think Garces can fill that role long term, and nor should he. But I mean, the Galaxy play well when Miki plays. Definitely one of our better additions, or probably the best addition we had made last season.
Oh, yeah.
And we're feeling it all around. Like, there's just a lack of contributors, I feel. So
I'll throw it out. He's the best right back in the league. And
I completely.
Memes, do you disagree over there?
No, I'm playing.
Okay,
No.
I was about to say. I think Miki Amane is the best right back in the league. This is a guy who gives you an 8 out of 10 performance every time he steps on the field, which you do not see often out of an MLS player. He is one of the most underrated transfers in recent Galaxy history, at least. Just so underrated in everything he does. Absolutely snubbed out of an all-star selection last year. Let's just move on to the next injury, guys. Why not move on to the next injury, to Lucas Sanabria? Second game in. Oh, that's rough. But second game in for the Galaxy, and he's already injured. Just goes to show our injury luck this year. Broke his collarbone. It was reported as a partial fracture, not a complete fracture. However, he is going to miss plenty of time, probably at least a month. If I had to guess, I think the average time table is 4 to 6 weeks for the type of injury he's going through. So a month to a month and a half seems like the good amount of time that would put him on track to get back training, back and play type of ordeal. It's this one hurts because he hasn't even really gotten to land. He hasn't gotten his rhythm with LA yet, and he's already gonna miss plenty of time. So what do you guys make of this injury to Lucas Sanabria, this unfortunate one?
It's unfortunate. It really, really is unfortunate considering he hasn't played much for us. He especially since he's been getting a lot of criticism online. I feel like he was slowly starting to get his role into this club. But I mean, we saw in the second half versus Vancouver, he took a nasty blow, which, I mean, that didn't result in his injury, I don't believe. But it's still like he would have been a player who would have been targeted more, and we saw him take some bumps as well. But just, again, he's going to need to take time to go into the league. And now you're going into the first month of the season with 2 of your U22s and 2 of your DPs injured on top of other injuries you have with the club. It's just a really unfortunate situation we're in right now. On top of you not having any other really great depth in the center mid or DM position. I know we saw Winder get his first start. I feel like he played okay versus Vancouver, but is he going to be the guy you rely on to play more of a defensively minded player?
Yeah. No, I certainly don't. Certainly don't think so. I think you have a real issue without moderator already calling for Tucker Lepley to get some minutes here. He didn't even get minutes over Parente, which was a bit interesting. Parente is maybe a guy you could see fill in that role. CFC Michael, you want to touch on Sanabria a bit?
I feel like the timing of the injuries are also unfortunate. Just keep harping on this, negative feeling with these guys that we were so optimistic about, maybe not even a few weeks ago, missing some long-term time. But I think in Sanabria's case, it was a little bit more unfortunate just because he already, or to me at least, is showing signs of not being a finished product. And I mean, that's what we sign up for when we go and grab guys like him. But was very excited to see him get on and hit the ground running, but it just didn't seem to be the case. And I think the issue right now with our midfield is that, like, none of it is clicking. I mean, there's no out and out playmaker that we can put there. And I mean, obviously, but already wasn't too hot on what I had seen from Sanabria. Now that he's going to go ahead and miss extended time, it just makes this all more unfortunate. So hopefully he can recover and come back soon. Like you said, the timeline is 4 to 6 weeks. Definitely need guys like him starting in our lineup, especially the newer additions. So
big money transfer as well. He is not a cheap transfer. About $5 million. And you know, he has high expectations. Didn't have the best of starts 2 games in, and man, that it just hurts even more. Memes, you want to touch on Sanabria injury? Not to, you know, keep making this all negative. We will go into some cool game previews here, but it's just unfortunate injury luck with the Galaxy. You want to touch on this a bit, Memes?
Yeah, just another unfortunate loss for us. You know, it kind of is more unfortunate because he needs the games to settle in with the team. You can tell he's not settled in. He's kind of lost. And it's even more unfortunate that we don't have a leader in the team, especially in the midfield, to guide him throughout his position and where, you know, you want him, especially in this Galaxy team. So for him to be out like 4 to 8 weeks, it's kind of unfortunate for him. But hopefully he comes back stronger and he has a great rest of the season. You know, only positives for him. He has the potential to be a really great player. So I'm really optimistic for when he comes back.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. This team is like, let's not get it twisted. Despite his rough start, this team is better with Lucas Sanabria starting. And it's really unfortunate that he went down. You know, maybe we will see some Tucker Lepley minutes in here, but my guess is that maybe Isaiah. Yeah, we need that. I think Isaiah Parente maybe takes some of the load off of you know, the midfield that's already missing so many players. I just want to quickly transition before we go into some game previews, because we got 2 tonight, into chat questions. So if you got any questions, send them over, whether you want to direct it at CFC Michael.
Dude.
What's up, chat? How we doing?
Yo, chat's been on one tonight.
Chat's been cooking tonight for sure.
We've definitely been seeing the chat so far. So you guys are lucky that we're even giving you guys questions tonight. But go ahead.
Someone said, Memes, what is that background? That is my background from the Galaxy Vancouver watch along. Go make sure to watch it if you want to go see that, you know, where the picture's from. Try to go time snap it and put it in the comments.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Cena from Dena. How will Nacimiento do?
Nacimiento, I think he'll be successful with the current state of this Galaxy. I don't know. Maybe you guys will differ, but with the current state of this Galaxy attack right now, Peck's having to carry everything. As Griffin tagged it, this was a Peck and pray game, and Peck still scored. But it wasn't enough. I actually thought the Galaxy did enough to get a point on the road. And I don't think we should go any further without talking about the red card. What should have been a red card to Vancouver was not given. And they actually went back today, the disciplinary committee, a tackle on Sanabria that should have absolutely been a red in the moment. They didn't even call a foul. Today they go back and give him a 1-game suspension with a red card. But it was really rough and reckless. And I think that played a huge role in the Galaxy losing a point, honestly. I think if this is a 10-man game, you see a lot, not to stray off of Nacimiento too much. So I don't know. Long story short, I think Nacimiento will be very efficient because right now we're only going down one wing. I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing winger right now off the rip for the Galaxy because that's a position of need bad right now. So you guys go ahead. Memes?
Honestly, I don't know where I would want to put him, to be honest. I think I would kind of want to stick with Fagundes on the wing just right now until Pace is back. I rather want to play them striker just because at the striker role at the number 9, we don't have that much pace going forward. And I'm not saying pace is everything, but I'm just the type of style we play with the through balls. We do need someone fast that can get in behind, and I feel like him especially it can provide that.
No, I agree 100%. Sean?
I disagree with you a little bit, Memes. I feel like Fagundes needs to be starting in the middle because of Royce just doesn't have that capability to really lead the team. I mean, again, we're plagued with injuries, so that plays a huge part. But I feel like Nacimiento should be shifted to the left wing, and you have your strikers still be Ramirez and Berry. You just need to get your strikers proper service, and you're not getting that out of Fagundes on the wing. So I feel like once Nacimiento comes in, you have to just at least try Fagundes in the middle and Nacimiento out wide just to see how this actually would work out. And if it's successful, then you have yourself a proper lineup until JP and more players come back from injury.
That's fair. Michael, you want to touch on that a bit?
Yeah, I definitely think there will be questions to be had about what Nascimento's best role will be. But I definitely want to tag on to what Meme said, and just I think we need to start him out at the 9 just off the way we play the game alone. Many instances in the Vancouver game where just Barry was not like a step ahead and just wasn't able to be on the other end of those through balls. So I think we benefit from it there, but then we also suffer from the lack of production and quality service from Fagundes. So I think there's going to be a little bit of trial and error about how we go about deploying him in our lineup, but I don't see why he wouldn't be an automatic shoe-in for the 9.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, if he's there, I think he's a very high potential player. The Galaxy see a lot in him. We actually got another question addressed for UCFC, Michael. What's the biggest issue other than injuries that the Galaxy need to address, in your opinion?
I think that we need to establish, or at least try and work on establishing chemistry. I feel like other than injuries, this is a group of guys relatively that didn't see all that many minutes together. We look at the attack. Barry was used to playing a backseat role to Dayon. Fagundes was in and out when needed. Cerrillo was around. I think that it's just a matter of time before we have these guys come together and click. Because I mean, I'm off eye test alone. Watching the games against San Diego and Vancouver, things felt choppy. And it's a whole, not a whole new group of guys, but there are a lot of, I wouldn't even want to say necessarily role players, but we're having players step up into bigger roles this year in absence of the injuries. So I'd want to say that, a little bit of team building and chemistry, and we'll be back on our way sooner than later.
Yeah. Once again, I don't disagree whatsoever. We got another question for me. If we played Chivas USA today, what would be the score with all these injuries? Oh man, what does a Galaxy starting lineup look like tomorrow versus Herediano? We'll go over that, but I don't think it looks too pretty right now. If we played Chivas USA, I mean, a derby match is always, I mean, we've beaten them with Ethan Zubac starting up top. So it's not like it's destined to be a blowout one way or another, in my opinion, when it comes to the derby matches. Look at that back line we had some of the years in like 2019, 2018 that we beat them with. If we played them right now, it depends. If we're at home, we don't lose at home to them. 2-2 draw. We just don't lose to LAFC at home or Chivas USA. But on the road, we'd probably lose like 3-1 right now, 2-1. I don't know if we have offensive firepower to keep up with what they're able to do, but I don't think they're in amazing form right now. If I'm being quite honest, I don't think they've won 2 games. I don't want to touch on them too much. That's not what we're here for, but I think it would be a hotly contested match, especially considering it's a rivalry game. We got another question for Sean. What else do you think has to happen for what do you think has to happen with Novak Mitrovic from to lose his starting spot to John McCarthy?
As of right now, I feel like if his distribution gets worse and if he keeps on making mistakes in the back line, like he did versus San Diego, I know that is a really iffy play for their first goal, but I feel like he does have some criticism there, and he should be blamed at least a bit for that. But if he just keeps on making those types of passes where it's just overhit and forcing your back line to be under pressure, then you're going to be in a tough spot. And I think Vanny will have to pull the trigger and move McCarthy back up into the starting role.
I don't disagree. In fact, let's transition now into LA Galaxy versus Herediano, where you could potentially see John McCarthy start is in a tournament like this. Of course, the Galaxy have already traveled up to Costa Rica. They made the direct flight from Vancouver. The stadium actually got moved because the Herediano started, like, their main stadium didn't meet Concacaf standards. It was only like 7,000 capacity, and I'm sure they wanted to sell a lot more tickets than that, especially when you play the Galaxy. You've seen some clips of a lot of fans in Costa Rica here to see Marco Royce. And so they moved it to Estadio Jose Rafael Melo Meza. That is a very long name for a stadium, but they moved it there. It will be at 5:30 tomorrow. Plug, we will be having another watch along, so make sure that you tune in tomorrow at 5:30. We will likely start it at 5:15. Stay tuned on our socials for more information. But we will be back tomorrow for a live pod. I'll be joined by Griffin and Sean, as well as potentially the Galaxy lad making his debut. But yeah, what do you guys have any expectations for this match? What do you want to see out of this? We'll start with you, Memes.
Well, I want to see some rotation. I want to see like some midfield rotation. Hopefully, Winder. I would want to see Tucker Lepley though. I really want to see Tucker Lepley get some minutes. I feel like he deserves minutes. I was hoping he would get minutes against Vancouver and San Diego. I really thought he was gonna come in versus Vancouver. So for him to start would be amazing. I feel like he's a hardworking player, and we saw him last year against Colorado or Ross Lake. He did really good in the first half. So I think he's a player that can be good for rotation, and he can be a regular for this team. So I hope he starts. I hope we see him against. Not with Winder, and yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Galaxy News, Sean.
I want to see as well some rotation, but I also want to see some goals in this. We haven't really shown that we can score much this season. I mean, again, it's only been 2 games. You can't base your season off of 2 games. But this is Concacaf Champions Cup. A lot of CONCACAF will be watching this game, and if coming off of winning the 6th MLS Cup, we have a lot of pressure on us, and I think we should be getting at least 2 to 3 goals here minimum. Anything less, I can say it's a bit of a failure, but as well as just leave here with a positive result. Don't pick up any more injuries. If you need to play rotation, do that. Just, again, do whatever it takes to get a positive result out of here so you do not have any more injuries.
Yeah. Michael?
I definitely think playing in multiple competitions this year, and especially in the Champions Cup, it only increases the target in our back. So we are expected to face teams that will want to beat the Galaxy. I mean, the biggest name in the league, a lot of people will be watching this fixture. And I agree with with all of you guys for the most part. I'd like to see a little bit of a flex of offensive firepower and, going out and achieving a stable result with the personnel that we have. I'd really love to see Tucker. Give me Tucker. Give me death. Bro has been deserving of some minutes now. And it'd be nice to see what he can do. So, I mean, really no expectations for this. Don't know too much about the opposing side. I know they're the top of the Costa Rican league. I want to say
I believe they're undefeated.
Undefeated. So, I mean, these games are going to be telling of our rotational pieces because we are playing against teams that quite literally have nothing to lose. So it should be an interesting watch.
I don't disagree. Once again, I think this will certainly be an interesting one. I don't know. You guys talk about like rotation. I don't know if we have the depth to do like a full kind of like minutes rotation right now with all the injuries that we're facing. I don't know what that looks like at the moment. I think we're being absolutely stretched to our maximum of what our depth looks like as it is, and we're just starting the season. Miro Garces went down. Will he play this match? Yes, he will play, but will it be off the bench? Will he start? I think if he's good to go, you start him. I don't think you run it with Zonka, especially after that header that he gave up against Vancouver. So if I had to go in and predict a lineup, I believe John McCarthy gets the start in this one. I think they go for the veteran in the comps. They probably told Novak Mitrovic. By the way, Concacaf Champions Cup, let's get this out here right now. It is a prestigious competition. It is arguably more important than it's more prestigious than winning the MLS Cup, because this is this is CONCACAF. This is a recognized competition that MLS teams do not win often. That being said, I think that you see the veteran John McCarthy start in goal. I think you see John Nelson at left back. John Nelson is Mr. Reliable right now for Greg Vanny and staff. So I don't see him getting dispossessed of that. I think Amiro Garces, and I don't know what you do with right back if considering that Yamani's still out. So maybe you do go with Zonka and Yoshida again and just say, hey, hopefully these guys get more chemistry. So for now, I'll go Zonka and Yoshida. But I do think that Garces gets a start at right back. I think he'll start at right back again, which is kind of unfortunate that in my opinion, our best center back. No offense to Maya Yoshida, but he he's the veteran guy. But I think Amir Garces is like, the young stud. He helped us so much win MLS Cup last year. I think in the midfield you see Edwin Cerrillo once again. I think you see Isaiah Parente, and I think you see Marco Royce. That might come off as a surprise to some of you guys, but I think if he's good to go, he starts this one because I think the Galaxy are still counting on him to deliver in these moments. I don't think they're quite ready to give up on him yet. And they rotated him against Vancouver, didn't give him many minutes, in my opinion, to preserve him for this match. So, like it or not, Marco Royce is what we got for now. I think you'll see Diego Fagundes and Gabriel Peck on the wings with Christian Ramirez up top. Do you guys have anything that differs from that lineup right there?
You don't think we'll see Nelson at right back and Aude at left back?
It depends how good Amiro Garces is to go. I think if Amiro Garces is healthy, I think he gets a start. I mean, that experiment was interesting last game, but I also think that we lost because Amiro Garces got injured too. Like, take away the red card, take away everything. I think that if Amiro Garces is at right back, we do not concede that second goal. And I know a lot of the blame goes to Zonka, as it should, for that goal. But I think losing Amiro Garces took a lot of steam out of the Galaxy. So he's crucial to this team. If he's good to go, he will start and he will play right back, because I don't think anyone else is equipped to play that position right now for the Galaxy than he is. Sean?
I agree. I think you will see Garces start this game. And I do think the team will want to have their best available lineup out. So I agree with Memes here about potentially seeing Nelson at right back and Aude at left back. However, I disagree with your midfield, Peyton. I do think Royce will start, but I just don't think Parente gets this starting role. I believe you will be seeing Tucker Lepley get minutes in this, as he should. He showed in preseason that he has talent and he has a lot of it, and he can start, and he should be starting, especially now with Sanabria injured.
I don't disagree. Before CFC Michael touches on that real quick, I just want to say I think Vanny putting in Parente before he put in Tucker Lepley into the game after Sanabria went down kind of told me where he was going to go in this situation. But CFC Michael, do you disagree? Agree?
No, yeah, I don't disagree in the slightest. It's definitely a telltale sign of who he feels comfortable shelling out in this situation, this very less than ideal situation that we're finding ourselves in. I agree that I don't think we've completely given up on the Marco Royce experiment. And in a game like this, we could use a little bit of creativity, having not had much of it going forward. So even if it is an abbreviated few minutes, I would like to see a greater Royce role going forward. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys hit all those points there. I would like to see Nelson and Aude. Maybe give Garza some time to rest. It seems a little soon, and I don't think we're really at a point where we can play with half-fit players, knowing our luck. So I think an Aude Nelson experiment would be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see him go that route. Just kind of depending. Let's just go into score predictions for this match. Personally, I have a 1-1 draw. I think the Galaxy will get a draw here in Costa Rica, and I think that would be sufficient because, one, we will get the away goal, which for some reason we're still doing in the big 2025. But I think we'll get the away goal and we won't lose, which is important, because I think if you could take this back home, take this to LA, and have like the upper hand, have it tied, just a clean slate, you would gladly take that after the amount of travel that they've done, after the rotation that they've done with the players that we're missing that we might have back for the second leg. I think that's a positive result. Our goal scorer, I will say Christian Ramirez gets his first goal for the LA Galaxy. In my opinion, I think that's who steps up to the plate today or tomorrow. Memes?
I'm going to go with the 2-0 win, and I'm going to go with the Christian Ramirez double.
Okay. I like the Ramirez hype we got over here. We got a lot of faith in him. John?
I'm going with a 2-2 draw. I think we will see Fagundes get a goal, and then Christian Ramirez get his first as well.
Yep. Michael?
I just want to throw a wrench in the works. I say we get a 3-1 win. We get one from Ramirez. get one from Fagundes. And if Lepley gets the start, let's get Lepley a goal.
Oh, the chat's gonna get crazy.
Chat's
for
Mod
love
is
that.
ready.
Yeah.
Mod is wet. Mod is wet.
Yeah, but we got a lot of Tucker Lepley fans up in here. But I think Fagundes is a good shout there, Michael. For a goal, he's due. He's really due for one because this is
Completely.
a guy who needs to step up for the Galaxy. I wanted to touch on him a bit. He has not been what people have been expecting him to step up. He said he wanted to be an all-star this year. Through 2 games, we can't even play down his wing without having to switch to Gabriel Peg. He needs to step up in this match. He needs to step up. He needs to be able to produce for the Galaxy and show that he is that guy, or else that salary will be gone next year. Mr. Will Kuntz will find a way to get rid of that.
Get ready to learn Chinese.
Get ready to learn New England Revolution, buddy. I do not think that Fagundes is living up to expectations, and neither is Marco Royce. We could harp on that all day, but neither one of them. They're both being paid almost $3 million in allocation money, and boy, have they not been worth it so far. There's a lot of MLS players making good money that is not or making like 300, 400K that are producing a lot better than our guys, Fagundes and Royce are right now. So it's time to step up. So I like that shout. We all agree that Christian Ramirez will score, which is an interesting one, considering he hasn't bagged a goal yet, but he is expected to get the start. Miguel Berry was a rotational fit, and I thought Miguel Berry played fine against Vancouver. People love to hate on Miguel Berry. I thought he was fine. Just from the chat, we got a 2-1 win with Peck, Brace, and then we got a 1-0 win. If anyone else has predictions, shoot them over. So yeah, this would be an interesting one. Anyone here? I'll throw a question out here. Do you think that the Galaxy getting a draw out of this match puts us in any danger? Do you think there's a genuine chance we could lose this fixture? I mean, this is an unbeaten Costa Rica team. Could you see the Galaxy in our current form dropping this at least first leg against Herediano? Is that a real possibility for the G's, considering that this team is a powerhouse in Costa Rica right now? I don't want to underestimate them at all. Do you guys think there's a chance? We'll start with you, Mims.
No, there's levels to this. We're not gonna lose. That's all I gotta say. There's levels to this.
All right, Sean.
I don't think we will lose this either as well. I know I said my prediction was 2-2, but I can see this game going very similar to as the one against Chivas at home last year. Well, although it was a home game, we were outnumbered by the Chivas supporters, and the team was under a lot of pressure in that first 15 minutes. But then once they got that roll in, they just went through. And I mean, it was unfortunate to end the game off, but again, they were strong for the rest of that match.
Yeah. Michael?
I tend to be quite pessimistic with these things, just with everything. And the Galaxy have given me 1,000,001 reasons to be pessimistic outside of last season. I really don't think there's a way we drop this result. And if we do, it will be very self-inflicted. They will not beat us outright. It will be us before they beat us outright. I don't think we lose, but if I wouldn't even necessarily be too hyped with a draw either. I feel like this is a statement game for everyone involved right now. It's an early game. It's a competition we haven't played in quite some time. I think there needs to be a show of dominance and remind people that we are a marquee team in the MLS.
Okay, I'm here to play devil's advocate a bit, not to be completely pessimistic, but I think the Galaxy can lose this match. And yeah, I think that this is a very good side. I'm not too familiar with their game, but knowing that they are undefeated makes me a bit weary. And knowing that teams tend to play the Galaxy, now we have a target on our back. And if you're Herediano, what better way to make a statement within Concacaf, within North America, than to beat the defending MLS champions would be a statement. And you saw San Diego come out with that fire. Not that they necessarily outplayed the Galaxy by any means, but teams want to beat us. They have a target on our back. I don't think we'll lose this one, but I think we can't underestimate them too much either. But I could also see this being one of those where it's like the first leg's like very close, and then the second leg's like, how did we not beat them first leg? Like, this is not the same team. I could see us like winning the home leg by a considerable margin, but just having some difficulties in Costa Rica with some jet lag. And this team had a 7-hour flight they had to catch yesterday, as well as, a 2-1 defeat we just came off of versus Vancouver. So I do think it could happen. But before we transition into our next topic, I just wanted to get just a final prediction, have it on ink. How far the Galaxy going in CONCACAF with all the injuries we're going through right now? We'll start with you, Memes.
You say semifinals. I'm gonna go with semifinals. I say they go into the semifinals. They put up a good battle, but just end up there.
Okay, I like it, Sean.
Take it one game at a time.
Oh, come on! Give us.
You know what, Sean? I like that. I like that, brother. I like that train of thought.
You on the same board, Michael?
I mean, we're not in a position really where we can forecast anything. Can't put all the eggs in one basket. But if I did, I'd probably say get us to the quarterfinals. Get us to the quarterfinals.
I'm on the same wavelength as you with that. I think the
There we
Galaxy playing Tigres or Cincinnati next is not a very good prospect. I know Tigres drew Cincinnati 1-1 in Cincinnati today. Nobody in CONCACAF is an easy opponent by any means. These are the best of North America. This is like the Champions League of North America. I mean, it is the Champions League, but it's like the UEFA Champions League of North America. So these are not bum teams. These are teams that can compete. So I think Cincinnati's a team that could potentially pose a threat. But then again, Cincinnati just had an embarrassing weekend. So maybe Tigres would be the ones, Mexican Giants could be the ones to knock us off. But we'll certainly see on that. I could see semifinals as well, Memes. But yeah, like you said, Sean, one game at a time. I like that mentality. It's been rough for the Galaxy this far. Let's transition into this weekend. We got another match on Sunday against St. Louis City SC. The Galaxy have not beaten St. Louis City SC as far as they've existed, which is not long. They're an expansion team, but we're yet to get a win against them. This team has a new head coach compared to last season, so it's not like it's the same tactical setup against the Galaxy. This is different. Let's just jump right into it. I think that if you're looking at expectations wise, the Galaxy coming off of a third game in a week may not be playing their best football at the end of the week. If you're looking at where they probably play their best, it's probably tomorrow, because I don't know if these guys by Sunday will be ready to super enthusiastic to play again in a couple of days. But it's a home game. The players love playing at home. What do you guys see from this matchup?
Well, I'm kind of in between. I'm like in the middle. Fitness wise, they're going to be really slow. They're going to be sluggish. It's going to be a tiring game for sure. It might be sloppy, but if we do get the win tomorrow, I feel like the momentum going into Sunday is going to be very high, which can put a lot of players to perform at a higher level. Therefore, I'm going to say that the Galaxy are going to get a win. First win against St. Louis and first win in the MLS season.
Okay. I like it. Sean?
I agree with you, Memes. I think tomorrow will have a big impact on the momentum going into this game. I think it will be a very close one, but I'm going for a 2-1 win against St. Louis at home.
Okay. Michael?
I want to call back to the last time we played them in the league. I want to say that was in September of last year, and Berkey single-handedly keeping them in that game. That was it was a frustrating watch, but all things aside, I think St. Louis, they've drawn twice. They've drawn twice this season.
Yeah,
I want to say that's correct. They're not looking any better than we are, and I think if there's ever a time to go ahead and grab a game by the throat, it would be now. But I'm excited to see what the boys can put together. Are we looking for a score prediction?
Sure.
You know what? Give us a 2-0. I think give us a 2-0 against St. Louis. I think given with the fatigue and agreeing with both of the guys, I feel like if we come up with a win tomorrow, I think the momentum going forward will definitely be a much needed kickstart, and I don't see any reason why we can't beat the St. Louis team.
Yeah. Not to bandwagon here, but I will also go with the Galaxy win. And
I'm just gonna start arguing with you guys now.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Tell us we're gonna lose, Michael. I think that the Galaxy win 1-0 to kind of silence anyone who's talking about the goalkeepers, the goalkeeper battle, the position, whatever. It's got to come to an end at some point, and I think a clean sheet will do that. That being said, can the Galaxy keep a clean sheet right now? We shall see. I think Miki Amane is probably back by this game, which is a huge addition. That means that our back line can go back to full strength. Like, thank the Lord. Obviously Sanabria is going to miss an extended period of time, but I think we will have it figured out by now. I think we'll play a clean game here. I don't think it'll be the most entertaining football. I don't think without Ricky Puig you're going to see much entertaining in the attack from the Galaxy this year. It is how it is. That being said, I do think that we are capable of getting a win here, and if we don't, that would be a lot more telling of this team, in my opinion, and where the season's going. These, like, the next week, you can't do must-win games this early in the season, but the next week we need to get some results here before things start to look very bad for the outlook of the Galaxy this season. That being said, I have us getting 3 points, but I don't know. Any other thoughts on this game? Any other thoughts or questions that you guys want to post for this matchup against St. Louis?
I'm just concerned about Berkey, man.
Yeah.
I'm just really concerned that dude, he owns us, and it's that last display, it was that 2-1 defeat. Like, I left that so frustrated, and it was a game that I think we could have won by, I think, a goal or two. So I feel like it just depends on what version of Berkey we get, and how up for it we are in the final third. So
yeah, Memes, you wanted to say something over there?
Yeah, I just want to mention that they haven't scored a goal in their last 2 games. We've scored once, but like I'm looking at their stats for San Diego, and the possession was 72% to San Diego, 28% to St. Louis, 700 passes completed from San Diego, and 279 from St. Louis. They don't look good going forward. So I just want to say that this game we might be able to take fully control over. I feel like it's going to be a game that we can fully take over. And yeah, I just hope we get the 3 points. I think our only issue is Berkey, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Sean, you want to piggyback on what Memes and Michael said?
Yeah, I agree. This game really is just how good Rookie is against us. I also think our midfield has to step up. And if you play Royce, he needs to step up and show that he can lead this team. And again, it just really all depends on how well we are in that penalty box and how many chances we get.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Do we think?
Oh, go ahead.
Do we think Royce starts on Sunday if he starts on Wednesday?
No.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. Or do you think Winder or somebody's going to take over that start? It depends, right? I don't think Royce starts 2 back-to-back games in this short period of time.
You know what's an interesting thing is that with the Lucas Sanabria out, I was actually thinking about this. Oh, first of all, I did want to say that Berkey is a huge threat to the LA Galaxy when you look at this matchup. That is a guy. You talk about goalkeepers that could just have a game and stand on their head the whole match, and you just come out of it like there's not much we could have done. Like he had, his game of the season, and it is what it is. He's capable of that, and that is worrying. That being said, I think we will be able to have our way with St. Louis this match. But going back to can you remind me what you just said, Memes, about St. Louis?
Well, they just got dominated by San Diego possession wise.
Yeah.
I was watching some of the game too because I was bored. San Diego were just attacking. St. Louis don't have a good defense. A lot of the clearances were just kickball. They didn't really get to San Diego's third either too much. A lot of the times it was Berkey bailing them out, honestly. It should have been San Diego's win 3-0. But there's no threat from St. Louis in the attack whatsoever. So I just want to put that out there.
I agree. And I just wanted to comment on of course San Diego is going to have the most boring game they will probably ever play, where they don't look good. the week after we play them, of course. And Chucky Lozano goes down with an injury, non-contact. It looked like he will be out for some time. And yeah, it's just like, of course, after when they play St. Louis, it ends in a 0-0 draw because the Galaxy shot themselves in the foot. I feel like the question of these upcoming games is, will the Galaxy not shoot themselves in the foot? Will we be able to control the mistakes that we make? And really keep ourselves in these matches. Michael, did you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's levels to this, boys. We are the big bad Galaxy. We are big bad Carson, and I'd agree. Like, it was just such a stalemate watching that San Diego game, and it was so off color given to the team that we were facing on the opener. And I mean, it's different, inaugural game.
Yeah.
I get it. There's a little bit of fire and pop, but I had mentioned when we were covering the Herediano game is that it's how many instances will we be in this year where we are the ones to do it to ourselves and we beat ourselves. So I mean, I don't want to remain pessimistic, but I mean, I want to keep a positive outlook, and I want to say that there will be some salvation here. And yeah, I think it's establishing a system and then going on to manage the mistakes that we make, because there have been moments where there have been lapses in concentration, and just we're having to utilize what we have. Going back to Garces, like, I don't think Garces looks sharp at right back, and it's unfortunate because he is our best center back, having to play that role. Just things that we've touched upon. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, but I think that improvement needs to come sooner than later.
100%. I just wanted to say last thing before we go into fan questions is we got some match takeaways I just wanted to quickly go over, and I'll go through each one, and whoever has anything to say on them, just tap in real quick and give a quick little give your thoughts as quickly as possible on it. Let's start with the first one. Said this is on the match versus Vancouver, is Don Garber's salary cap in full effect. Yeah, anyone want to start with that?
I agree. We got given a bad deck of cards for this season because of the strict salary we have after winning the cup.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. I don't think there's any more I can add to that. It's just the salary cap rules make it almost impossible to repeat for a reason. They don't want to see the same team win it. They don't want to turn into the Bundesliga. The next one is recall Johnny Perez from loan. Anyone want to tap in on that? Mike?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. I'm all right. we good on that, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen some interesting takes on Johnny Perez ever since we've had this little slump. I don't think you'll see Johnny Perez ever suit up for the Galaxy again, in my opinion. I think he will be gone by the summer. Permanent transfer to wherever within MLS. Maybe Nashville FC want to retain him, but I don't see that happening.
Let's be real. He's probably going to go to Chivas.
Maybe.
Next season.
I mean, reunite with Daniel Aguirre and Chicharito. Can we stop playing from the back, please? Go ahead, Sean.
It was more about Perez. I'm a Perez believer, so I'm all for him joining us back.
I remember.
Blaze.
Memes. You want to talk about like the non-ability we have to play from the back right now?
Yeah, well, I also think, not building from the back, I think it's also a midfield issue as well, because we kind of we need a midfielder to drop into that space to be able to take the one touch to the wing, to the right or to the left, and we don't have that person dropping back. As we saw last year in multiple games, it was always Ricky, running around crazy everywhere. He was always dropping back to play the simple one-touch back, or the turn to go forward. And because we don't have him, we don't have the ability to play back, and it's kind of forcing us to play kickball and just ruining the tempo with the team.
I also agree on that. I think our playing from the back ability, I mean, it is part of Greg Vanney's system, so it's like there would have to be some modifications from the system. And I'm not sure you'll see that. So I think we're just going to have to learn. We're just going to have to relearn it. Yeah.
It's so clapped.
You wanna expand on that?
I mean, I was listening to the commentary during the Vancouver game where it's like the center backs like to have the game in front of them. We cannot play out of the back at the pace that Maya Yoshida and Zanka go out playing their game in general. It makes it difficult, and it's just very lifeless, I feel like. But you can't take that out of the Vanny system without having to reinvent this new brand of football. So there will be learning and growing pains. I think that's a good theme for this episode, is that there's going to be a lot of growing pains going forward.
Yeah. 100%. It's a rebuilding year. No, it is not.
Nah, no way.
There was people saying that last year was a rebuilding year going into the season, and I was on the train that no, it was not. It was a retooling year from a very injury-ridden 2023 season. I know a lot of people get PTSD already this season to last season because the whole fiasco. It's different in some ways, though. We're not in a fan protest. The fans completely have the back of the team. They will continue to show up for the club. It's not the same as 2023. It is not a rebuilding year.
Honestly, we're 2 games deep into the season. I think like everybody needs to just take a chill pill, because like I remember last year, all of the injuries were happening kind of towards the middle of the season, end of the season. So it's better to just get it over with at the beginning and hope, these players come back fully recovered and have a full season of just going straight forward. And, hopefully we carry that whole momentum into the playoffs.
Mike?
I just think it's a championship hangover, man. Like, we see this so often in sports, even outside of the MLS. It's like, it's so hard to match the expectations and repeat in any given sport. But I think we should be asking more given the result of last season.
Yeah, I wish we had the situation the Dodgers were in right now, where we could kind of just forward everything to 10 years in the future.
Yeah.
I know you're a huge Dodgers fan, Mike.
Hey, man. That's a whole other podcast. That's a whole other podcast.
Talking Dodgers. Let's see, what are some other things before we go into fan questions? Plagued by more injuries.
Should we just bring up the Ronaldo rumor that we saw on US Sports something, and how impossible it is, with the salary cap that we have right now? It's so unbelievable, dude. There's no way that's gonna happen. At least this season.
I've seen shouts. Ronaldo is making so much money in Saudi Arabia. He will be staying there regardless. And if he doesn't, he'll probably go back to Portugal. But he was closer to joining Kansas City than he was joining us. We are not in the mix for Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's just leave it at that. I know I've already seen some Ronaldo shouts today. It's not happening, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep Dejan Joveljic, and we want Ronaldo, boys. I mean, there's got to be a tempering of expectations somewhere.
Don't even have a DP spot, man. It's just not happening.
Ronaldo on a max TAM deal.
Yeah, Ronaldo on TAM. Yeah, like you said, Sean, let's get Youngman's son on a $400K in allocation money. All right, let's go into questions. Final questions before we wrap it up here. Make sure to leave them in the chat. Any last things, whether it's Concacaf, St. Louis, Vancouver, injuries, everything that the Galaxy are going through right now. Feel free to tap in. Leave a comment. You could direct it at any one of us, or we could just rotate through. We'll do that, and then we'll wrap it up here. But just send it in. Let's start with this real quick. Where did you get that Galaxy shiesty from, Mr. LA?
Dude, I got it at the Digs, but I wasn't at a Galaxy game. It was at a Colombia versus USA game that I went 2-3 years ago, and someone was selling it, and I just had to buy it for the memes.
For the memes, yeah,
absolutely. So it's just been in my where all my soccer socks are at. I just keep it in there. Barely wear it. Never take it to the game though.
And then the background is absolutely.
Oh yeah, you always gotta change my background.
I don't even know what could have prompted that reaction.
I think it was when. No, I think it was when Nikovic made a save or something like that. I just clipped it.
That's crazy. That kind of reaction for a save is wild. I didn't even know. All right, we got a question for all of us here. What is your honest opinion on how many wins and points we get this year? I'll let you start, memes. Go ahead.
Oh God, me?
Yeah. Go ahead. We need numbers. We need figures here.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with 52 points. How many wins is that? Like 13, 13,
The math in there, I would say.
14 wins and like 10 draws or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if it's that many.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I would say like 50, like in the 50 area, top 5, usually gets.
For comparison, last year, our grand total amount of wins, I believe, let's pull
It was
this up.
19.
It was
19 with 64 points.
It was 19 wins. We had 7 draws, 8 losses for a grand total of 64 points.
Well,
Interesting. Yep. Well,
I don't think we're touching that.
I don't think we're gonna have more losses than wins though. Like we're gonna have for sure more wins than losses this season.
Yeah,
I would hope so. I would hope.
I
so.
honestly don't think we're gonna have a negative year like that.
No, certainly not. I think to have more losses than wins, you would have to be, like right.
You'd be like what, bottom table, like 9th, 8th.
You know where 12 wins got you last year, Mr. Galaxy memes with your wait. You said 12, right?
12 wins.
That was your prediction. 12 wins.
What did I say? I said that, yeah.
Whatever it was, 12
14.
wins.
I think it's at 14. I think it's at 14.
Okay, 14.
14, lock it down.
14 would have had you in 8th place last year. So
with 47 points.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to revise that, but go ahead, Mr. CFC Michael.
Give me 16. Or no, give me 15. Give me 16 or 15 wins.
Okay.
I think that's safe. Calm.
Points? We just
ballpark. I want to say we end up maybe like on the tail end of like 57
okay.
57
All
points.
right.
I think that'd be nice.
Sean?
I don't think we're gonna get the same highs as we did last season, unfortunately. I think this 2-month stretch of a lot of injuries is gonna cost us. So because of that, I think we will be in the 50 to like 52 range, which looking at it last year, that's 6th and 7th. I know my original predictions on the season was 4th, but that's 57 points. And I do not see us getting in the high 50s to close to 60-point range this season.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna kind of go over there with you, Sean, and I'm gonna have to say that this Galaxy team gets 15 wins, and I think that will do enough to put us in 7th place. I think now my comparison, a lot of people I've already heard shouts that we're gonna make like a Seattle type run. I think we can make a Red Bulls type run, the Red Bulls last year type run, where we enter the playoffs as a lower seed, but you have Ricky back. Hopefully by then we don't have any new major injuries and we have all of our guys back. We have our full lineup ready and we're ready to go for the playoffs. We'll have to play on the road. It is what it is. A good team will have to play on the road, but I think we could make a run once all these guys are back. They're going to be motivated by Ricky being back. It's going to be like a new signing. But I think, like Sean said, starting this bad is going to cost the Galaxy in the end. And then we got another question. Who wins the Golden Boot for the LA Galaxy? Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. I think all of us will have the same guy here.
Peck, right?
Yeah.
Has to be Peck.
Names?
Better be Peck.
Sean?
I'm sticking with my original prediction from before the season started, and I'm sticking with Christian Ramirez for Golden Boot.
Oh, brother, give it up, man.
I don't think he's gonna get anywhere like to 19 goals though. I think he's gonna drop for sure, especially with not having Ricky for such a long time. It's gonna contribute to lack of goals.
Yeah.
Just because you need Ricky to create and produce, he's like it's like an orchestra with Ricky. I feel like he's gonna get like 14 goals and 7 assists, 21 goals, final goals and assists. in the season.
we did get a Peck goals and assists question too. So I'll just I
21.
also have Peck. I think he'll have 16 goals and 14 assists by the end of the season. So I think they'll put him at 30. Which I think is safe to say, and I think he'll be in contention for potentially MVP, depending on how good this Galaxy team does, which is unfortunate that he's reliant on how this Galaxy team does, because I don't think will be anything crazy in the regular season. But Peck goals and assists, guys. Sean?
For me, it's tough because I want to say like 25-ish, but I'm always the type of person who will say wingers will get more goals than assists. But saying that will completely destroy my Christian Ramirez golden boot prediction.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, I will say he gets 24. He will get 11 goals and then 13 assists.
Okay. CFC Michael?
Give me a slight step back from last year. Give me 15 goals and chalk him up for 12 assists.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like all of those.
Just shy of 30.
Yeah,
That's
and
right,
then we'll go on the last question here. Thoughts on Marco Reus? Memes?
I can start this one off. He's been really. I don't want to say he's been really poor, but he hasn't been what we thought he was going to be. He hasn't lived up to the expectations. And if you guys watched the MLS documentary, Charlotte were like really bummed out when they lost Marco Reus and they found out he was going to the Galaxy. Now I'm starting to think, if they're laughing at us for ended up getting Marco Reus with how bad he's been with the Galaxy, I want to just say he's not 25. He kind of needs Ricky Puig to play. He's not going to be the type of player to be running around the field, tackling everybody, winning the balls, distributing. He's going to be the guy that gets the final touch before the assist. And he needs, a player like Ricky in the midfield to help him, get going. So I think he needs like Ricky Puig to bring the best out of him, unfortunately, which is going to be not for a while.
Yeah. Sean?
I 100% agree with you, Memes. I feel like Royce's only good plays with the Galaxy has been link-up plays with Ricky. I've thought Royce has only had about 3-ish good games for us since he signed, which is very unfortunate. And now you're losing the player who would link up with him. He's going to need to step it up. Hopefully, Winder and Surreal can kind of bring that out of him over the next couple months while I wait for Sanabria to come back. But, I mean, Royce hasn't shown it against San Diego that he can, or even Vancouver too, because he came off the bench. I completely forgot about that. That just shows how bad he was versus Vancouver. He's just been a non-existent factor for us this season.
Yeah, Michael, your guy, Marco Reus.
Oh man, it's a shame because he's definitely one of the players that helped me fall in love with the sport when I first started picking it up and watching. And I think even me with my rose-tinted sunglasses or my rose-tinted shades, it's just it's not prime Royce anymore. He's not 25. He's not 27. And I think to the casual fan, there's that expectation when we do follow our club's traditional model of bringing in bigger stars, especially older stars from Europe, is that, they're going to turn back the clock and relive the glory days. Some instances it works, some it doesn't. Agree with Sean. This season been a complete non-factor, but I hope nothing for the best for Royce and that he can find some form, especially in a time where he can become such a cult hero. Like if he can strap his boots up and like make a name for himself when we need creativity in that part of the final third or in that part of the park. I mean, he has a great opportunity to cement his legacy here and not sort of leave it at this, gray sort of tinted spot that he's in. So I hope nothing for the best for him.
I completely agree. I would love to see him get back in form, and I feel like we're still only seeing a small sample size of Marco Reus. I tend to have a bit more of an optimistic look on this because this guy is signed through 2026. So if he's still not good by the end of this year, I think his salary in 2026 is going to be looking like the worst contract in the league next year.
Yeah.
In terms of allocation money contracts. I think his best days are yet to come for the Galaxy in terms of production. I'll take a better stance on that. And what do I have to back that up with? Nothing. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's been great for the Galaxy this far. He hasn't. But I do think that this team will rely on him heavily. And if the Galaxy will produce this year, I think it will come from Marco Reus. So yeah, that's all I have to say on Reus. Yeah, anyone want to add in on Marco, or is that all we got on him? He's just not been up to expectation. Yeah.
Dude, I love that guy though, man. It's so hard. It's so hard to have to criticize him just because it's like we know what he can produce. And I do agree that if there is any sort of offensive firepower, if there's any sort of flex of what we can offer in the final third, I think Reus is he automatically becomes a crucial part of that success.
It's really hurt because that first game against Atlanta with him and Ricky is like, oh, dude, these guys are going to cook. Mark Delgado, go to the bench. Like, Marco Reus is here. Marco Reus is here, and he's here to take over the show with him and Ricky. It's going to be the Ricky and Reus show, and then just you never saw it again. Once Marco Reus was on his own against St. Louis, it was not it.
I disagree a little bit. I feel like, again, Reus has only had about 3-ish good games for us, but his link-up play with Ricky in El Tráfico was some of the best link-up play I've seen from Galaxy players.
That is true. I just feel like him, Marco Reus, whenever he's had to carry the weight on his own, has not been it. And I think it's up to the coaching staff to get the best of him. Even when there's not a whole team around him, it's up to them to figure out how to get the best of Marco Reus, and whatever he has left in his career, he's got to go now. Like, yeah, CFC Michael, you want to any last words on that?
No, man. I mean, I think
man,
classic. No, man. I don't know. I feel like we can look at Reus's career whenever he has had a team to himself and they've had to rely on him to be the guy. I feel like this isn't out of character necessarily. It's just more interesting how, like you had said, how are we going to utilize his, I'm saying last days, like, you know, he's going to leave.
Yeah.
But how do we utilize the twilight of his career?
Yeah. I think the trade-off, I'm not going to play the game and sit here and be like Charlotte are laughing at us. We got that MLS Cup, and I'm not wanting to live in a reality where we don't sign Marco Reus and maybe things are different. It is what it is. The trade-off of not having him as a DP like Charlotte wanted him to be is the fact that we signed him for an extra year than he probably should have been. So it like if this were his final year of the contract, he'd be like, all right, let's suck it up on last season and see if this guy has what it takes. No, there's another year of Marco Reus where he's making the same amount of money. So it's disappointing for sure, but I think he has the potential to step up, and especially when Ricky returns, I think his best days are ahead for the Galaxy. But yeah, if you made it this far, please, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that. We are almost to 200 subscribers, and like the stream. We're up to 13 likes, I believe. It's been a pleasure having you as a guest, CFC Michael. You are welcome back anytime. You brought a lot of good energy to the show, and we very much appreciated having you here.
Boys, it's been an absolute treat to do this again. Haven't done any sort of media in this space for a while now, so it's good to see what you guys are doing over here. You guys got a listener out of me, and hopefully a frequent collaborator, and I'd love to come back soon and do this again.
Anytime.
Of course, guys.
So CFC Michael, where can we find you?
You can go ahead and find me on Twitter at CFC Michael, as if you haven't seen it on screen. And if you want to go ahead and follow me on Instagram, it would be Michael CFC. Other than that, maybe go ahead and check out the G30 podcast at the G30 podcast. And that's it for me, boys.
Appreciate having you on anytime, brother. Sean, where can we find you at?
You can find me at Galaxy News 101 on Instagram and on Twitter.
All right, memes.
You can find me at lagalaxy.memes on Instagram.
And for myself, I am LA Galaxy _buzz on Instagram. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. And we will be back tomorrow with a live show. Do not miss the live show, Galaxy Herediano. We will have another live stream. We'll start at 5:15 tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Everybody have a good night.
Good night.